Okay, the reason I'm sharing that with you guys is that because that can give you some kind of a way of thinking that would help you with, you know, criticizing or highlighting the limitations of the alternative you're focusing on. So you may remember that we said, yes, we are very critical of capitalism, but that doesn't mean that we should fall in love with anything that is non-capitalistic or alternative to capitalism. We would like to extend our critical thinking and transformative thinking into the realm of alternatives, right? And so if it's in the interest of alternatives, if we as the friends of alternatives, as insiders, help them understand where they are located and how they can improve their efficiency, their effectiveness by collaborating with other alternatives, with other movements. So to help them understand how they can collaborate, who else in the universe, or sorry, the pluriverse of alternatives can help them, the very first step is to actually help them locate them in the map, on the map. So for instance, if you look at this, we said, well, let's roughly speaking consider social life having 4 dimensions, right? The economic dimension, the political dimension, the communal or social dimension, and the ecological or web of life, if you like, the ecological dimension. And then each section needs to be transformed. Well, many people who are active in the economy section want more social justice. They want to redistribute the wealth. So they want to equalize. That's why I made that equalize red. Okay, they want to equalize it. But we said that, well, democracy shouldn't be limited to politics, right? You know, economy and politics are so intertwined. Look at those arrows, and they're so intertwined. So if you want to democratize, and many people who are active in politics, they want to make things more democratic. So what if we also democratize the economy, right? Because they are intertwined. Many people who are active in community builders or community activists, they're about socializing things. But we know that economy is also part of the community. They are intertwined. And what if we also do socialize the economy? So you can see, as a result of the reflection on how things are intertwined, we have 4 fields, four dimensions, 4 fields: economy, ecology, community, politics. And we have 4 processes for each one of them, coming from the other dimensions. So we not only need to equalize economy, we also need to socialize, ecologize, and democratize. What do we exactly mean by that? Well, democratize economy, like workplaces, democratize them. Make sure that the economic decisions are also made democratically, at the micro to the macro. Well, our economy is not green, so let's ecologize it, right? We said we are worried about social justice and economic justice, and the gaps between poor and the rich growing. So yeah, definitely equalize it, but also socialize it. Make the people, the community, the owner of the economy. Make them help them to have their own commonwealth growing. Make them control the economy. Increase the influence of communities into the economy. So economy wouldn't be just individualistic. It will be me, greed, greed, greed. So this collectivization, socialization is also needed for the economy. Now look at the politics. The same. No, we said we don't think politics, kind of a two major party things, or party politics is really democratic because there's too much influence of money into there. So we want to democratize politics, but also our politics is not green, in the sense that it's, a lot of policies are not really oriented towards protecting the earth or the environment and so on and so forth, the planet. So we need to also make our politicians and politics, ecocentric, if you like. And also we want to make sure that people have equal opportunities in terms of participating in the politics. So let's equalize it. And also socialize it. Also make sure that a lot of decisions can be made by the communities, inside the communities, empower the councils, empower the communities. Well, the workplace itself is a community that needs to be also socialized, or democratized. So you can see things are very much so. In each section, we need to have 4 processes that I call them: democratization, ecologization, equalization, and socialization of each one of these. Now, until last year, this was just an idea. And I published first something in 2018, and you can it was just a preprint of it on this website 2021 that I explained that model a little bit. Wow, the number of the downloads has increased. Thank you. And then a few weeks ago, together with a colleague from Helsinki, Barry Gills, we published this paper, which expands a bit. I'm not asking you to read the whole thing. It could be very lengthy, and I want you to focus on your annotated bibliography. But towards the end, maybe if you're interested, you want to get some ideas about this communist framework. And that's just, I mean, the way I explain it, it's more than enough for you. I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, things are, we need to look at change more comprehensively. We need to integrate alternatives. That's the message, and that if you get that message, that's more than enough. So I'm excited to share the result of it. So as I said, it was an idea up until last year, but then I had the chance to put that to test, and I designed a survey with my team, and that survey, as you can see, had 16, you know, four fields, four processes, 4 times 4, 16, right? And I had 16 statements, and I asked people to what extent, I mean, these people are activists, groups, you know, organizations. And I asked them to what extent they think this should be, they are promoting these things, to what extent these are their primary goals, purposes. For instance, you can see on the left-hand side, we have democratization, equalization, and socialization. And the columns are economic relations, you know, political, communal, and ecological, socio-ecological. Now, if you then I design those statements. For instance, for the democratization of the economy, I asked them if this is your goal, promoting more democratic workplaces and economic enterprises that are managed by their employees. Is this what your organization is doing? And to what extent? You know, is that not at all to very much, for instance? And then if you have time later on, take a look at these statements. Each one of these statements represent those 16 things, you know, processes and fields. So democratization of the political relations. I asked them, for instance, if your organization is doing this, promoting direct or radical democracy, or further democratizing the current political system, locally, nationally, or internationally. And I asked them to tell me to what extent they do this. And then to the end. Now, well, of course, when they tick a box, that creates a number for me. The higher the number is, the more they are involved in each one of these 16 elements or 16 things. Now, here is the averages. Like the way that we score your essays, I scored the based on 16, so that was 16 criteria for their essay, okay? These are the 16 criteria. They mark themselves, okay? And then I averaged them, and well, 96 organizations answered my questionnaire. And here is where they stand. So for instance, statement number 1, democratizing the economy, okay, promoting more democratic workplaces. Their score is average score is 1.5-ish out of 3. Not a very good record, not a good score. But when it comes to ecologizing the economy, making local economy greener, right, their score was high. And when it was coming to equalizing the economy, making, reducing socioeconomic differences, their score is pretty high. A little bit high in terms of making the economy, socializing the economy, the society, the community would own the economy. But when it comes to democratizing the politics, I didn't see much of interest. You can see it's a weakness there. When it comes to ecologizing politics, making politics greener or ecocentric, you see they're far away from the margins, from the periphery, from the maximum they could be. And equalizing the politics, promoting equal opportunities for citizens to participate in politics. So you can see when it comes to the political, you remember that thing, here, the economy was on the right top, politics, right bottom, and so on and so forth. That's where this is. So when you look at the economy, they've got pretty good marks, except for democratizing the economy. On the bottom right quarter, the politics, they are performing poorly, except for socializing the politics, right? And they're doing pretty well, except again for the ecology section, which is the left top quarter. And then over there, you see that they are not doing well, I think, in terms of equalizing the ecology, or promoting moral relationships and partnership with non-humans. That is very much related to that transhumanism, posthumanism. They're not that post-humanist. There is still very much kind of humanist. So this gives you a picture, and let's imagine these 96 organizations. That was a pilot study. I can't really say they represent the entire civil society of the entire Australia. They come from different states, but let's imagine this 96 respondents represent the entire. Okay, just for the sake of argument. This is the picture. You see the face of civil society, about how transformative, how communist it is. So you can think of it as an apple, and with these bites. These are missing pieces. So as an academic, as a critical thinker, my feedback to the civil society of Australia is that, help each other promote these things that you're short of. These are the areas that this civil society needs to improve itself. And I'm not expecting everyone to be expert in all those areas, but we know that, for instance, a lot of our civil society activists and community activists are not really, they're alien with politics. They think politics is a dirty job of the politicians, dirty politicians. And we need to be more politically active, and we also need to be more more towards, greening the policies and the law and so on and so forth. Yes?
The way they would have answered those questions on the political side, the bottom right, were they talking about the way they manage their company, like the political situation internally in their company?
No, not internally.
They're talking about the big picture politics.
Yes. Is this the primary purpose of your organization? Is this what you are working towards?
Okay. Are you sort of lobbying the government to become fairer?
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. They say that's not my priority. Yes. And also I also had some backup questions, simpler. you know, for instance, sorry. These are again, like, I accumulate. Sorry, I'm ahead of myself. So I said, okay, I have 4 dimensions and I have 4 processes. I have 4 fields and 4 processes. And then I combine the data. And again, you can see, I wanted to see in what of those 4 fields, economy, ecology, politics, and community, how far they are active in total. So you can see they are very active in the field of economy. They are very active in the field of community. They are far less active in terms of ecology and are far more less active in terms of the politics, you know, in the field of politics. But then how about the 4 processes, ecologization, you know, democratization, so on and so forth. They are highly active in socialization, making the communities. Of course, there are a lot of them are community activists. They're very much involved in their communities and they make things more socialized. So socialization is the primary process. Then follows by greening things, ecologization, and then less of equalization and far less of democratization. So if you look at these 2 graphs together, you see there is a kind of alienation, political alienation, not very much involved or engaged in politics and democratization. Not really a good priority, a top priority for most of them, which is a weakness from my point of view, and that needs to be addressed. Or maybe that is because the cohort, the group that answered my questionnaire, were not really representative. I didn't have, you know, a good number of politically active organizations, but I can't see them around either. Except those who are involved in party politics. So again, this is the backup question. I asked them, what ultimate outcome is your organization or initiative working to achieve? Ecological decolonization, ecological health decolonization, increased public well-being, social justice, or democratizing. And as you can see, again, they are pretty good at increasing public well-being as their ultimate outcome. Ecological health and sustainability, they're pretty active in that area. Social justice, pretty active. When it comes to democratizing the economy, not that active, and very, very inactive in terms of decolonization. So despite all those, you know, acknowledgements of the country and so on and so forth, sounds like a lip services. Yes, it's we need to actually take decolonization far more serious beyond those just acknowledgement of the country. And I wouldn't give you a headache about these sophisticated graphs, but you know, the message here is that we can actually now we have something to measure and visualize. The face of our transformative actors in general, in average. And we see that these are the shortcomings. If we leave politics to the hand of corrupt politicians and corporations, of course, you know, the major decisions are made on the top. And, you know, just, you know, imagine you live in a house and there is a big bully in the house, a big brother, and you say, I'm not going to challenge the big brother. I'm going to let the big brother do whatever he wants. All I want to do is just find a corner, a niche in that house and build my comfort zone, an alternative way of living. And I don't want to bother myself. Well, I don't know how successful that could be, but the house is being destroyed by the big brother, by the bully. So we need to roll up our sleeves. And that's one of the problems with the new left since the 60s and 70s. A lot of us went to the academia and became the dwellers of the ivory towers. And we became part of the elite, just to be honest. And we have abandoned the working class. We have abandoned the youth. But the youth also should stop thinking them as the consumers. the youth of this country should think of them as the real owners of the future, not only future, the present. You can see how things are going pear-shaped. So we need to take our destiny back in our hands and reclaim it, reclaim future, reclaim the present, and stop thinking of ourselves as just consumers, recipients of solutions. We are the solutions. We want to make the solutions. We don't think the solutions offered to us are adequate at all. Just the IPCC reports came, another IPCC report came again, scary but also frustrating, because the policy section of that again is all about just tinkering the edges, carbon tax, market incentives, rubbish. Come on, a big, huge part of the literature was not there. I mean, I have huge respect for IPCC. I think everybody should listen to IPCC when it comes to warning us about the consequences of climate change. But when it comes to the solutions, they're not experts in that. You can't really expect these people to provide us with economic and political solutions. They come from us. The political solutions to climate change come from us, not from those who think that market can solve